We're a bit late getting into Tatooine, and we were running out of daylight, and we had to get down here to Beramir today. So we ended up driving in the dark at 40 miles an hour on these tar roads, which no windscreen is gets a little bit trying for some people. I do it all the time, so it doesn't really bother me. But so we got down here, we ran into a police checkpoint who held us for about 30 minutes because they hadn't heard we were coming, and they had to get authority to let us through from their bosses somewhere, I don't know, in Tatooine, I guess. They finally let us through, and we'd heard that there was a campsite. We didn't, because we've never been to this area, we didn't want to go driving around in the dark trying to find a place to camp. So we're looking around, we couldn't find the campsite, and then the police guys came along and said, oh, we'll show you where it is. And so they let us into this place. And I'll tell you what, I've never, ever in the wildest dreams would have imagined what they brought us to. So I'm going to show you now what I'm calling the Apocalypse Now Tunisian village. So let's go have a look.
Yeah, the boat.
So we got like the little shishka area. You can sit out in there. They've got a little kitchen where you can order chicken, fish, or goat. And they do have cold drinks. The cook doesn't speak any French or no English, so it's a lot of gesturing to try and figure out what you want to order. They do have cold drinks though, so that's really handy. So my favorite part is over here. Come this way. Actually got a boxing wrestling ring. What the hell they'd be doing with that, I have no idea. And then if you want to watch a little TV, I got this spot in here. So yeah, just quite bizarre. There's showers, there's toilets, and there's what they call princess tents, so it's like a big military tent, but they've got their showers and their own private bathrooms, and so yeah, it's just not anything I was ever expecting to find just outside Beramir, which is a place that never sees any tourists. So anyway, yeah, that's us for tonight. You never know what you're going to find on one of the PPE adventures. All right, so we are just packing up. We're just about to leave the Apocalypse Now Village campground, and we're heading to Wilder's Gap. So one of the main reasons we came down this way. We've got a bit of a military police escort just to the mouth of the gap. They just want to know where we are. We've gone over the maps with them, and they're completely fine with our route. They don't get a lot of tourists down this way, not surprisingly, so this is all kind of unique for them, especially a group like ours. So anyway, heading to the gap. It's going to be interesting, and yeah, let's go do some history. We've reached Wilder's Gap. Now, one of the things we wanted to prove, people just look at the map and there's a road that is an improved French road, which is an improved Roman road, which is an old camel trail from 1,000 years ago. It goes through the mountains here and heads out to the west towards the Sand Sea. But we wanted to show that Wilder's Gap isn't actually that route, that it's actually to the north. And so a lot of our research went into that. And now we've found a track that takes us up through this narrow canyon, and then it'll open up a route that heads northwest towards Kasar-Galain. And we know that when Wilder found the gap, he didn't actually come from the east, he didn't come from the south, he'd gone past this area and was working his way back along the west side of the mountains, looking for a way through. And they actually discovered the gap, sending out foot patrols because the vehicles were getting beat to crap. So anyway, we are pretty much 99% sure that we're in Wilder's Gap. We're gonna go up the road a little bit and take a photo in this canyon just up here, which we're calling Wilder's Gap. And our military escort, which had been following us along, just to make sure we didn't stray further west into the military zone, but also for our own safety. They just wanted to see what track we were going to be following, and now they're quite comfortable. So the military is heading home, or back to their base, and we've just got our guide Mustafa with us to keep us out of trouble.
Here we are at Wilder's Gap, or in Arabic, Fadriak Wilder. We are west of Beramir, slightly southwest, and then we've turned off the road, and then if you look behind me you can see quite an obvious passage. So from here we are pointing at the location of the New Zealand Field Maintenance Centre, which was a dump of food, fuel and water, and there were 600,000 gallons of Second World War flimsy petrol cans. So I'm absolutely over the moon about being here. It's been a long road, both figuratively and literally, and to be here is really worth it.
What do we think, Alan?
Seems to have been an actual depot, because the cans have had the caps actually taken off rather than just being hacked open. So it suggests that the guys who were issuing this petrol etc. had been doing it a lot, so they knew the right way to do everything.
So yeah, it's just really, really interesting. So, good morning. It's about 10 past 7 on 15 October. So we did our first full day in the Wilder's Gap area, the concentration area for the New Zealand division, prior to their flanking of the marathon. Interesting day yesterday. There was a lot of high emotions as we found Wilder's Gap, the little canyon that runs north off what's now currently the tar road. I don't know if I'm getting the vehicles all lined up, getting a group shot. We put a former parachute regiment senior NCO in charge of organizing that, so it was done very efficiently. Drove up to the gap and started to move into the concentration area. So there was a full division. You're talking 3,000 vehicles, 17,000 men, all in the area for roughly a week, and it's a box about 20 kilometers long and about 5 or 6 kilometers wide, and they'd be scattered all through this area. So we established a base camp not far from the north end of the gap, and we started sending out patrols to go to various locations. So yesterday one patrol went to The grid reference we had from a Maori battalion, New Zealand Maori battalion, and they had done in their unit records a sketch of their position.
So the point we're going to is this one.
Yep.
Which is Yankee Kilo 3793, and that is the location of the 28th Maori Battalion CP. So we'll be travelling around about just under 5 k's, almost due west but slightly north of west.
Yep, okay.
Then if we swap to this map, which Dave kindly printed off, this is from the actual Orbat sketch map showing 28th Maori Battalion dispositions. The battalion command post is here. That is the grid.
And so we'd gotten a hold of that, and so our guys went looking, and they found all sorts of interesting bits to show that they had found the right location. There was ammunition drums from like probably mortar rounds or some other kind of large caliber weapons. There was flimsies and bully beef tins and all the normal stuff you'd find. Another patrol went out looking for the New Zealand Forward Maintenance Center, the FMC, which would be a place where there was something like 600,000 liters of petrol and flimsy tins, there was food, there was water. But the only grid reference we had for it was an operations order, so that's kind of the instruction saying go here and establish your FMC. But the location had never made any sense to us, and when we got into the general area, we searched all over, there was nothing there. So we think whoever was in charge of the FMC made their own judgment call and put it in a much more practical location. We think we know where that is, so we're going to go check that out this morning. So we're going to stay in location another day. Some of the trucks have a bit of maintenance to do. One has some dust in the electrics and the speedo cables may become disconnected, and others having a bit of trouble with a fuel pump, electric fuel pump. So some of the trucks will stay here and do some maintenance this morning. The others we're going to go out and we're going to look for the FMC. This afternoon we have a grid reference for a machine gun battalion headquarters. And we're going to send a patrol out to check that area. Tomorrow we'll probably move further up the divisional box and start looking at the northwest end. And we'll finish up and then we'll follow the route out towards Kasargale. So yeah, things are going well. Morale is high. Some were up a little bit late last night around the campfire, celebrating a bit too long. A little slow moving this morning, but yeah, everything's going really, really well. So yeah, let's see what the day brings.